Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you happen to be across the United States. Welcome to the Clareidoscope Awards ceremony to wrap up this terrific day of performances and presentation and sharing of information. I've been able to check out a few things, and I'm looking forward to reviewing things that I missed over the course of the day on YouTube later after they've been posted there, and I encourage you to do the same. Um, thank you so much to all of our sponsors who have donated prizes. There's too many to list all of them, but I encourage you to check out the Clareidoscope webpage, which lists all of them with graphics, and you'll be able to get to stores and things like that to check out products that way. And I also encourage you to keep an eye on our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you've enjoyed this virtual event, there are more virtual events that will be coming up over the course of the rest of the spring and into the summer from the various ICA committees. And also, Clarinet Fest is virtual this July. And I have been informed by Jessica, our executive director, that registration is now open. So you can go ahead and sign up. And there are links in the chat for those things. So we're going to start with announcing our competition winners. So first we have the essay competition, and Dr. Liz Alexander is going to announce the winners.
Hi, everyone. Before we get to the winners, I would take a moment and acknowledge the committee that helped put this together. Daniel Silver, Jennifer Reeves, and Adria Sutherland honestly had more of a hand in it than I did in the end. And especially we'd like to thank our judges. Since this was an essay competition, we wanted to make sure we brought in people who were more versed in essays and writing than we are. So we'd like to thank Gail Zugger, Doug Kalika, and Alyssa Goralnik. And that's probably not the first name I will mispronounce today. We have 4 categories, and so we have 4 winners. 2 of those winners have chosen to record themselves reading their essay, so I'll have those to share with you. And the others will be available on the Clareidoscope website later. So the winner of our junior division is Juliana Cross. Congratulations. The winner of our high school division is Zombar Daniel Asenyi. And here he is sharing his essay with us.
My name is Zsombor Daniel Eszenyi, and I'm from Hungary. I will read you my essay about my most important musical mentor. László Krasna. Remembering this name fills me with a special feeling, brings back all the good memories, and now, unfortunately, the pain of loss, too. László Krasna was a clarinet teacher of Béla Bartók Secondary School of Music for 30 years in Budapest. Generations of excellent clarinetists learned to play in his classes, who nowadays work all over the world. He was an outstanding teacher with an ability to develop not only the professional skills of his students, but also to understand their teenage souls and help them enrich themselves emotionally. He was also an excellent pianist, and he used to accompany his students. He had extensive knowledge of classical music as a whole. He played in the Hungarian State Symphony Orchestra for decades and was a prominent figure of Hungarian clarinetists' life. I met him at the age of 11. My parents asked him to listen to me playing and tell us his opinion. Well, from the following week on, I was his student. He was so devoted and energetic while teaching me. He told my parents that I was exceptionally talented and I was a very special gift of life to him near the end of his career. We soon entered the clarinet competition in Cardino, Italy, where I got the first prize, and the competition in Teplice, the Czech Republic, where I came second. I was happy not only because of the results, but I really enjoyed traveling and spending a lot of time with him. He had a very good sense of humor, and I admired him for being always up to date in the world of high-tech devices. He kept pace with new mobiles, computers, he had solar panels installed on his house, and really longed for an electric car. We had our little secrets. Since I was in my early teenage years, I started to grow rapidly. He measured my height every month and wrote the result on the wall of the classroom. Nobody else knew what those dates and signs meant. After 2 years, he asked Professors Béla Kovács and Zsolt Szatmári to audition me, and a few months later, I was admitted to the class for exceptional young talents of the Liszt Academy of Music. I am really grateful because I became the last and youngest student of Professor Béla Kovács for 3 years. Of course, my relationship with László Krasna did not end with that. He always came to my exams and concerts. He helped me prepare for the competition of the European Clarinet Association in 2018, where I got the first prize. I often phoned him just to listen to his uniquely deep and warm voice, to ask for his advice, or just to know he was alright. Then one day, in October 2019, I got shocking news. He'd had a stroke while teaching. I managed to visit him in hospital a few times, but eventually he died full of plans for the future. I miss him a lot.
All right, and I'm going to keep the screen share on because the winner of our collegiate division, Anushka Davkar, has also shared her essay with us.
Mom sang Hindustani classical music, and Dad played the tabla when I was young. I joined the school band when I was in 5th grade. I loved it. I wanted to pursue music for the rest of my life. However, I'd come home to hear my mom singing and my dad playing, and I would tell them that their music was wrong. The microtones and alaps they used weren't being taught in class. I thought the kind of music I was learning in school was the correct kind of music. In 9th grade, I had the opportunity to travel to Europe, and though there was a language barrier between the English and German speakers, we were able to transcend our differences through playing music together. I was convinced that music was the universal language and that through playing, learning, and teaching together, many of the world's problems could be solved. The world seemed so easy. When I entered college, I began to see many of the inequities faced by marginalized colleagues and students. I was a founding member of the Persevering Light concert, featuring works by Black women. I kept a detailed repertoire list, and it was only at this concert when I realized that in 10 years, I had never studied a solo by anyone who wasn't a white and heterosexual man. I was embarrassed in myself that I had not sought out the initiative to play works by more diverse composers. But I also started to look back on how I had treated the music of my heritage. Upon the murder of George Floyd last summer and the stream of protests that resulted, I took it upon myself to improve my impact in my field. I created my own online concert based on Mr. Anthony McGill's Take Two Knees initiative, featuring the works of Black female composers. I worked with a colleague to catalog works by women composers to make a resource for increased diversity on clarinet recitals. I was ashamed of myself, both in the simplistic way I viewed the world and the way I had treated my heritage. I pledged to do better. While diversity concerts, a personal promise to program and teach inclusively, and personal reflection are certainly not a bad start, I feel we've only scratched the surface on the changes that need to be made. My 15-year-old self truly believed that music could bridge differences, but I've come to reject that notion. The next step in the fight for justice is to bring out the differences people face and acknowledge that some groups have been historically marginalized in ways that others have not. We must honor, respect, and amplify this music. Certainly, we can use musical events as a way to gather people, use song to have our voices heard, but it is now essential that we do more than just use pretty music to mask deeper problems. We must acknowledge and amplify those that we have left out in order to heal.
Our final winner is Paul Connors from the Post-Collegiate Division. So we would like to congratulate all 4 essay winners, and especially to thank you, the 2 of them who chose to share their essays with us today.
Thank you so much. Our next category is the composition competition, which will be introduced by Lori Ardavino. Dr. Ardavino.
Very happy to do so. Before I announce the winners, I'd like to recognize Dr. Beth Wyman and Dr. Jorge Montillo Moreno, who are also part of the committee and judges for this competition. In the high school division, we have Zomber Daniel Eszenzi, the winner for his piece Tricolor Fragments. And second place in the high school division goes to Carl Balvance with his piece Night Sky. In the collegiate division, first place Jack Ford with his piece called Chickpea. And second place goes to Tyler Manzone with his piece Waffle. We have one honorable mention in the collegiate level, and that goes to Leland Harris, looking at my notes, Leland Harris for Introduction and Dance. In the post-college level, we have as a winner, Kristen Denny Chambers with her piece Corteo de Aves, and second place goes to Paul Vowles with his work, Three Pieces. So thank you so much for entering our competition. It's so awesome to have new clarinet pieces.
And our last category is the performance competitions, which will be introduced by Robert Spring. Dr. Spring?
Thank you. First of all, as I told the committee, I'm really, really glad that I'm older and have a job, because these people are incredible players, and it's just wonderful to hear them. Tim Bonifant is going to first announce the judges. It was a huge panel of people. So Tim, could you do that, please?
Certainly. The committee itself was made up of myself, State Chair of Texas, and also included Cassie Keogh, State Chair of North Dakota, Dawn Lindblade Evans, State Chair of Oklahoma, Melena McLaren, State Chair of Louisiana, and of course, Robert Spring, State Chair of Arizona, and George Stoffen, State Chair of Michigan. We also were assisted in the judging by three other people, Jonathan Calder, State Chair of Massachusetts, Leslie Grimm, who is not a state chair, but she volunteered to assist us regardless, and Ozzie Molina, State Chair of Alabama. So thank you to all those people for your work and dedication.
So at the junior level, B flat, we had a tie, Min-Ah Kim and Annalie Surwa. Second place, Juliana Cross. Third place, Jamie Nolan. Fourth place, Maggie Chrisman. In junior bass, we had Jate Mukamala. In senior B flat, Zamber Ezanyi. Again, congratulations, that's three. Second place, Jacob Leach. In third place, Caroline Baird. Senior bass, Simon Bakos and Kaylin James. Collegiate B flat, Anushka Davkar. An honorable mention to Chadwick Thomas, Rosemary Bullock, and Joel Robertson. Collegiate bass, Henry McNamara. Post-college B flat, first place, Patrick Dolan. Second place, a tie, Christine Tregas and Catherine Carlton. An honorable mention to Huang Gyo Cho. And then the post-college alto and bass is John Gibson first and Chance Morris second. Thank you, all of you who did so well, and thanks for the wonderful recordings and the fun judging. Thank you.
To conclude the event, again, on behalf of the International Clarinet Association and its board of directors, I have to thank all of the state chairs for the energy and the commitment of their time and organization of this terrific event. Everybody has been so involved in making this a reality, and I hope that we can keep this good energy that was the result of the COVID-19 pandemic going in some way when we're back together in person too. But make sure to keep tuned to virtual events in the future, and stay tuned to that webpage for updates with the competition winners and other information about archived stuff. The programs are on there too. So thank you so much. Have a great evening.